The forest swallowed the light slowly that evening, as if savoring it. Tall Douglas firs loomed above, like ancient guardians, and the rustling underfoot softened into a hush as dusk settled. Miles from the nearest road, the three of them had found a small clearing, just wide enough for their tents and a modest fire. Aaron was the one who'd suggested the trip. Restless from city life, he craved the weightlessness that came with being unreachable. No phones, no news, just trees, stars, and the small comfort of his two closest friends, Kyle and Jordan. They had known each other since high school, but had grown apart in their 20s. This trip, in some unspoken way, was meant to stitch something back together. Kyle knelt beside the fire pit, carefully arranging a teepee of kindling. Jordan tossed twigs into the pile, more distracted than helpful. Aaron stood at the tree line, staring into the darkening woods with his hands in his jacket pockets. He wasn't sure when the quiet had started to feel oppressive, like the forest had drawn in a breath and was holding it. The fire snapped to life, crackling and casting long flickers across the bark of the surrounding trees. The three sat in a triangle, their faces lit in orange and shadow, talking lazily about college memories and what their lives had become. But the conversation thinned as the night deepened. The forest grew too quiet. No wind, no chirp of crickets. Even the fire seemed to burn more softly, as if muffled. Jordan was the first to notice the sound. "Did you hear that?" he asked, his voice a notch above a whisper. Aaron turned his head. "What?" "A footstep," Jordan said. "Right behind me. Just one." Kyle chuckled too quickly. Probably a deer, but they all knew it wasn't. It had been a deliberate sound. A single step. Nothing else. They listened. Minutes passed. Just the crackle of the fire. Trying to shake it off, they eventually crawled into their tents. Kyle and Aaron shared one, while Jordan took the smaller one alone. Sometime around 2 in the morning, Aaron stirred awake. At first, he thought Kyle was moving next to him, shifting in the sleeping bag. But Kyle was still breathing deep. His face turned away. Then Aaron heard it. Footsteps again. Not crunching leaves, just the soft displacement of pine needles, slow and even. One step, another, then nothing. Aaron held his breath. It sounded like someone was circling. Closer. He didn't move. Just listened, eyes wide open in the pitch dark. Then a cough. Soft, ragged. Just outside the tent, Aaron reached over and nudged Kyle. "Wake up." Kyle blinked confused, then froze as Aaron held a finger to his lips. They both listened. Nothing now. Just the creaking of the trees, barely perceptible. Aaron leaned over and unzipped the tent flap by an inch. He peered out. Nothing but darkness, broken by the soft glow of the dying fire. And then he saw him, a man, standing just at the edge of the trees, facing the tents, not moving. His skin pale, clothes hanging off him in wet folds. He looked covered in something. Mud. Aaron's breath caught. The man wasn't blinking, just standing. His arms hung limp at his sides. His head tilted slightly. Not curious, not confused. Listening. Kyle whispered, "What the hell is that?" The man moved, not forward but sideways behind a tree. Smooth, almost gliding. Gone. They didn't sleep the rest of the night. Morning couldn't come fast enough. When the sky finally grayed with the hint of dawn, Aaron and Kyle crawled out of the tent, scanning the tree line. No sign of anyone. Jordan. Kyle called. No answer. They jogged to his tent. It was zipped shut. Aaron tapped the flap. "Hey man, you up?" Still nothing. Kyle unzipped it. Jordan was there breathing heavily in his sleeping bag, pale and clammy with sweat. "Dude," Aaron said, shaking his shoulder. "You okay?" Jordan opened his eyes slowly. He was here. Aaron's blood turned cold. "Who's in this room?" Jordan looked between them. I heard him breathing. Right next to me. He walked around my tent all night. Then he stopped. He just stood there. Right there. He pointed to the ground outside his tent. There were bare footprints in the pine needles. Deep, wet, and unmistakably human. They weren't sure what to do. They couldn't call for help, no signal. But packing up and leaving felt like surrendering to something they didn't understand. Still, they didn't want to stay another night. As they gathered their gear, Aaron felt it again, that pressure, as if the woods were watching. Not just a presence, but a will hiding behind bark and leaf, following every breath they took. They hiked out by mid-morning. No one said much. The trees seemed closer on the way back. The light had changed too, flatter, more muted. About halfway through the hike, Kyle stopped. "Where's my knife?" he said, patting his belt. "I had it on this morning." They looked around. Then Aaron turned pale. It was hanging on a branch behind them, dangling by its cord. But they hadn't walked past that tree before. It was new, and they hadn't heard a sound. No cracking branch, no footstep. Just the forest, still holding its breath. They stood frozen, the silence pressing down like a weight on their shoulders. The knife hung on the branch, swaying slightly, though there was no breeze. Kyle stepped forward hesitantly and reached for it. As his fingers wrapped around the handle, Aaron noticed something that made his stomach knot. The blade was clean, too clean. They had used it the day before to cut rope and slice food. It should have had sap or dried grease on it, but now it gleamed like it had been scrubbed. No prints, no smudges. Just a faint dampness, as though it had been rinsed in something other than water. They didn't talk much the rest of the hike. Every creak of the forest became sharper, every shifting shadow more deliberate. At times, Aaron swore he heard the drag of footsteps behind them, timed perfectly to stop when he stopped. But when he turned, the trail was always empty. By the time they reached the car, the clouds had thickened overhead, muting the morning into a dull gray hush. Jordan didn't even glance back as he climbed in. He pulled his hoodie over his head and curled into the backseat, eyes open but unfocused. Kyle drove. Aaron sat in the passenger seat, scanning the tree line until it vanished in the rearview mirror. It should have ended there, but it didn't. That night back in his apartment, Aaron lay in bed with the windows open to the city sounds. Distant sirens, a neighbor's TV, a barking dog. But beneath it all, something tugged at his thoughts. Something quiet. A pattern he hadn't recognized until he was alone again. The man they saw, he never moved toward them, never attacked, never even spoke. He just watched, circled, waited. For what? Around 3 a.m., Aaron woke suddenly. No reason, no sound, just the heavy knowledge of being awake. The room was still. The moonlight poured through the blinds in pale slits across the floor. And then a soft knock. 3 taps, not on the door, on the window. Aaron sat up slowly. His bed faced the second-story window. He lived in a walk-up. No balcony, no ledge, just the glass. Another knock, slower this time, deliberate. He forced himself to stand, legs weak, heart pressing against his ribs. Step by step, He moved toward the window, pulling the curtain back with 2 fingers. There was no one there, only the streetlight casting pale shadows on the sidewalk below. A parked car, a rustling tree, empty space. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, Kyle called. His voice was tight shaken. Did anything happen to you last night? Aaron hesitated. Why? Kyle exhaled hard. I woke up around 3, heard something outside the bedroom window. I live on the 4th floor, man. Aaron's blood ran cold. Neither of them said it, but they knew. It hadn't stayed in the woods. Over the next week, it escalated. Jordan stopped answering their calls. Aaron dropped by. His place found the door unlocked, the lights on, but the apartment empty. No sign of struggle, no packed bags. His phone still on the nightstand. Kyle filed a report. The cops chalked it up to stress or an impulsive getaway, but Aaron knew better. The footprints outside Jordan's tent had been deliberate. The clean knife placed silently behind them. The knock on the 2nd-story window. The breathing. This wasn't just a haunting. It was patient. It followed them, watched, waited, and now it was closing in. A week after Jordan disappeared, Aaron returned home late after a shift. The apartment felt off the moment he entered. Too quiet. Not the usual quiet, but held like something was waiting to exhale. He walked slowly through the apartment. Nothing disturbed, nothing moved, but on the kitchen table sat something he hadn't left, a single muddy footprint, clear and human, perfectly centered on the wood surface. That night Aaron didn't sleep. He sat in the living room, all the lights, on phone in hand, eyes scanning every doorway, every corner. Around 2:37 a.m., the temperature dropped. The air thinned and a soft scraping sound came from the hallway. He stood heart-pounding. The scraping continued like nails dragging across paint. He followed it slowly, each footstep deliberate. Down the hall, past the bathroom, to his bedroom door. The knob turned. Not fast, not forced, just a lazy rotation. It stopped halfway. Aaron reached for the bat he kept under the couch and returned to the door. He gripped the knob, flung it open. Nothing. The room was empty, but the window was open now. He hadn't left it open. He closed and locked it, drew the blinds and backed away. Then he noticed something scrawled into the condensation on the glass, written with a finger. You looked back. It all made sense now. In the woods. That moment, when Aaron peeked out of the tent, saw the man standing there. He had looked, seen it, and now it had marked him. He called Kyle, breath shaking. Don't look at it if it comes again. Don't look back. Kyle didn't answer, just static, a soft breath, then silence. Aaron dropped the phone. A slow knock came at his front door. 3 times, even steady. He didn't move. The knock came again and again. Then nothing. It never came in. Never broke anything. Never screamed. It just waited. It still waits for the next one who looks back. Story 2. Whispers from the Dead. Gitustam. Campfire, Pennsylvania, 2013. The clearing had a strange shape. Not quite a circle, not quite natural. The grass in the center had grown thinner than the rest, and the remnants of charred stone formed a wide ring as though someone had once built a fire pit there long ago, then left it to be swallowed by time and moss. David stood at the edge of it, squinting in the late afternoon light. Behind him, his wife Emily and their son Tyler unpacked folding chairs from the back of the truck. Their dog, Murphy nosed around the edges of the trees, tail wagging lazily. "You sure this is the right spot?" Emily asked. David nodded. "Ranger said Site 12 was the best right by the old trail loop. Nobody's been here all summer." She glanced at the clearing again. "It looks used." David shrugged. "Probably just wildlife." But as the sun dipped lower, shadows stretched longer, and the edges of the woods seemed to press inward. The forest had a way of making everything quieter, more intimate. Even Murphy stopped barking after a while, curling near the fire ring without a sound. They didn't build a fire. The heat still clung to the air, and the sky was clear, dusted with stars. Instead, they gathered in a circle with lanterns lit low and shared campfire stories without the fire. Tyler begged for ghost stories, and David indulged him with the kind of tales you'd expect a woman in white footsteps on a lonely road. The call that came from inside the house. It wasn't until Emily spoke that things began to shift. She cleared her throat. "My grandma used to talk about this place," she said softly. "Said there was a camp here when she was a kid. Long time ago. She said they'd roast marshmallows right over there, where those stones are now. But one night a boy went missing. They searched for days. Never found him. Only thing left was his boot right by the ashes." Tyler's eyes widened. "Is it true?" Emily gave a small smile. "That's what she said." Then the woods fell still again. Even the wind stopped. Tyler looked toward the old pit. "Can we light a fire now?" David hesitated. "Not tonight, Bud. Maybe tomorrow." Tyler looked disappointed, but nodded. They turned in early. The tent zipped shut with a soft hiss, the forest stretching silent beyond the thin nylon walls. David lay awake longer than the others, listening, not for anything in particular, just listening. And then he heard it, a soft crack like twigs snapping underfoot. He held his breath. Another, closer, and something else, a faint rustling. Not wind, not animal, something measured, intentional. He sat up. The tense fabric glowed faintly with moonlight. A silhouette passed just beyond it, low to the ground, almost crawling. David's heart thudded. He unzipped the flap slowly and peeked out. The old fire pit glowed, not with flame but with embers, fresh ones. He stepped out quietly. The air was thick and unmoving. He glanced at the pit smoke curled from it, now lazy and gray. Around it, the stones had been arranged neatly tighter than before, and ash dusted the grass. But he hadn't lit anything. None of them had. He turned around to call Emily, but then he heard it. A whisper. It came from the pit, soft, male, childlike. "I didn't mean to go." David froze. Another whisper. "Don't leave me here." He backed away slowly. The smoke rose higher now, twirling unnaturally in the air. He blinked and saw it, a figure. Just for a second. Small, like a child. Kneeling in the smoke. Head down. Then gone. Back in the tent, Emily stirred. "What is it?" "Nothing," David lied. "Go back to sleep." But sleep wouldn't come for him. Not that night. Just before dawn, as the black turned to blue, he stepped outside again. The fire pit was cold. Stones scattered just as they had been before. No ash, no smoke, no glow. But in the dirt where the grass had thinned a boot print, small, not Tyler's. He stared at it until the sun pushed through the trees, washing away the strangeness. That morning, Tyler seemed quieter. He picked at his breakfast and wouldn't look at the old fire ring. "You okay, buddy?" Emily asked. Tyler nodded. "Yeah, just tired." David met her eyes. They both felt it. The shift. They spent the day hiking trying to shake it off. But the woods felt thicker now. The birds quieter. That night they lit a fire. A real one this time. David wanted to chase away whatever had crept in the night before. They sat close, the flames tall and warm. Tyler barely spoke. Then as the fire crackled, the wind picked up. From nowhere, it blew through the trees, hard enough to bend branches. Their lanterns flickered, and from the pit where they had cleared out the old stones, smoke rose again. But the fire wasn't smoking. The smoke came from the ground, and it whispered again. "Stay with me." David's eyes snapped to the fire, but it wasn't the flames making that sound. The whisper came from lower, from the ground, from the cleared circle where the old stones had once been. The smoke there curled upward in slow tendrils, unnaturally thick, spiraling in a direction the wind did not touch. Tyler moved closer to his mother, silent watching. Emily stared at the rising smoke, her hand instinctively reaching for David's. Then the whisper came again. "Don't go." It wasn't loud, barely more than a breath in the ear. But it came from every direction, threading through the trees, hovering over the fire, lingering in the corners of their minds. David stood and moved toward the smoking patch of earth. "This isn't possible," he muttered, but his voice sounded foreign, stretched thin by fear. The ground beneath the rising smoke darkened like fresh ash spreading outward, dampening the firelight with every inch it claimed. "David," Emily said cautiously, "let's go inside." He took another step toward the pit. "It's just leftover coal," he said, though even he didn't believe it. Then the whisper came louder, closer. "It's cold down here." Tyler whimpered, and Murphy the dog bolted yelping as he sprinted toward the trees and vanished into the woods without a sound. David spun, heart pounding, "Murph." But no answer came, only the whisper, "Don't leave me." They didn't stay another second. Emily grabbed Tyler and ran for the tent. David doused the fire with a bucket of water, but even as the flames hissed and died, the smoke continued to rise from the ground where the fire hadn't been. They zipped the tent tight, huddling inside with a single flashlight flickering weakly. The wind returned, howling now, pushing against the thin fabric of the tent like fingers trying to press through. Then the zipper moved. David lunged, pressing his hand against the flap just as it began to slide down. The zipper paused, then moved again, up this time, pulling slowly under its own power. He held it shut with all his weight, whispering curses under his breath. Tyler sobbed quietly into his mother's chest. Outside, the wind died. The woods grew silent again, and in the silence they heard footsteps, tiny ones, circling the tent, slow, deliberate, each one crunching softly over pine needles and dirt. They moved clockwise, pausing now and then as though whoever or whatever was out there was listening, waiting for someone to move or speak. Then it stopped, right behind them. The whisper came again, just inches away. "I'm cold." Emily let out a muffled cry, and David gritted his teeth. "I didn't mean to go," the voice said. "They left me here." The air inside the tent grew cold. A breath that wasn't theirs tickled David's neck. He turned his head just slightly and saw a small handprint forming in the condensation on the tent wall. Fingers played, child-sized, pressing from the outside. He didn't sleep. None of them did. Morning came, pale and weak. When David finally unzipped the tent, the world outside looked normal except for the ground where the fire had been. The grass was blackened again. The stones were back, arranged perfectly, just like before, and in the center sat a single soot-covered child's boot. Emily didn't say a word. She packed their things quickly, checking over her shoulders every few seconds. Tyler didn't speak at all. They drove out in silence. It wasn't until days later, back home, that David began researching. He searched for any stories of disappearances in Tioga State Forest, old campsites accidents. And he found it, August 1974. A summer campfire went unattended. A small boy, Eli Brenner, aged 9, was last seen walking into the woods to collect firewood before dusk. His friends told the counselors he hadn't come back. A search was conducted, but no trace was found except for a boot, charred at the toe, resting near the campfire ring. The campsite had been decommissioned. Rangers warned people not to use it, but over time the signs faded. People forgot. David stared at the photo of the boy from the article, bright eyes, messy hair, crooked smile. And he remembered the whisper, "I didn't mean to go." Emily begged him not to dig further. Tyler started sleeping with the lights on. Murphy never returned, but David couldn't shake it. He started hearing it again late at night. 3 knocks on the window. A whisper behind the door. The scent of smoke where there was none. And once, just once, he woke to find tiny black footprints across his bedroom floor, leading to the fireplace. The soot was fresh. No one else heard them. No one else saw. But David did, because he'd stood too close, because he'd listened, because he hadn't left when he should have. Sometimes the forest doesn't forget. Sometimes the fire dies out, but the whispers keep burning. Story 3. The Faceless Boy. Utah, 1996. The Wasatch Mountains always felt older than the rest of the world. Not just in age, but in the way they sat immovable, solemn, as if watching everything that passed beneath them with a patient kind of malice. That summer, I was 9. My father had taken me on our first real camping trip, just the 2 of us, like he used to do with my older brothers before they got too old to care. We drove up past Heber and into the national forest, down a winding trail that seemed to narrow with every turn, until the trees leaned in so close they scraped the side mirrors. The campsite was nothing more than a clearing between aspens and spruce, with a fire ring made of stones someone had set long before we ever came. We pitched our tent near the edge of the clearing, where the trees grew thickest and the light disappeared fastest. The first night passed quietly. My father built a fire and told stories about bears and stars and old frontiersmen who wandered off into the mountains and never came back. I remember watching the fire more than I listened. The way the flames twisted into shapes that almost looked like people when I squinted just right. He went to bed early, tired from the drive. I stayed up a little longer, poking the embers with a stick and watching the orange light flicker across the bark of the trees. That's when I first heard it, a voice, soft, barely more than a breath. "Hey." I turned toward the sound, but there was no one there. Just the trees. Just the dark. Then again closer this time. "Hey, Tommy." It was my name, but not in my father's voice. I stood up, still holding the stick, and looked toward the trees. A figure stood between the trunks. A boy, about my size. But his face was wrong. It wasn't that it was scary. It wasn't bloody or gory or twisted. It was just missing where a face should have been. There was only smooth, pale skin, like it had never been there. No eyes, no mouth. Just the soft curve of a blank head, tilted slightly like he was curious. I dropped the stick. He didn't move. Then he raised his hand and waved. Slowly, like someone who's never seen it done before. and is trying to mimic it. I don't remember running, only that I was suddenly inside the tent, zipping the flap, closed with shaking hands. My father mumbled something in his sleep turned over, and I didn't dare wake him. The night passed in silence. The next morning, I told him I was cold and didn't want to stay another night. He gave me a look but didn't ask too many questions. We packed up and drove home before noon. I didn't speak about it again. Not to him, not to my brothers, not to anyone. Not until years later. It was college when the dream started. Always the same. I'm in the woods. The fire is dying. I hear my name, and then I see him. Not running, not chasing, just standing, watching. Sometimes I see his hand wave before I wake up. Sometimes I don't. But the blank face is always there. The dreams came and went for a while, fading for years at a time. But they always came back. Until last month. That's when I saw him again outside my window. It was just after 3 in the morning. I'd woken up without reason, sat up in bed and looked toward the curtains. There was a shape behind them. A head, shoulders, still, watching. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then the curtain shifted just slightly, and I saw it. The smooth, pale skin, no eyes, no mouth, and a hand, raised, waving. I stayed awake till dawn. When the sun came, the window was clear. No prints, no mark. But the dreams got worse after that, more vivid. Last week I woke to find dirt on my bedroom floor. A line of small footprints that led to the edge of my bed. I live alone, on the 2nd floor. And last night, he spoke again, not in a dream, not outside. From the hallway, 3 words, "Come with me." The voice was soft, flat, like someone remembering how to speak. I didn't move, didn't open the door, but I think he's closer now. And I think he never left those woods. He's just been following, waiting. The first time he appeared in the hallway, I thought I'd imagined it. Sleep deprivation does strange things, and I hadn't truly rested in weeks. But the voice stayed with me all day, whispering in the background of my mind, like a cold draft I couldn't close off. The hallway light burned out that night. I replaced the bulb twice, but it kept flickering until it died again, leaving a tunnel of shadow between my bedroom and the front door. I started leaving lamps on every corner, bathed in warm light, like I could push him away with enough brightness. It didn't work. 3 nights ago, I woke to find my bedroom door open. I always close it. Always. But it stood ajar by 3 inches, and just beyond it, at the edge of the hallway, I could see the shape of someone standing there. Still, unmoving. The moonlight through the living room window caught a portion of him, the curve of a shoulder, the side of a blank face. Pale, smooth, as featureless as the first night in the woods. But I could feel something in that gaze. Not eyes, but presence. Awareness. And again, the hand, lifting slowly, waving. I couldn't speak. My mouth had gone dry. My limbs locked. Then he took 1 step forward. Not fast, not threatening. Just slow and steady, like he was giving me a chance to run or to follow. I slammed the door shut and locked it. I pressed a chair against the handle and waited until sunrise. When I finally opened it, the hallway was empty, but on the floor, dirt again, just a dusting, and the faint outline of a barefoot print. That same day I called my dad. We hadn't spoken much in years, not since Mom died. He answered with that low, steady voice I remembered from childhood. I didn't even know how to begin, so I just asked one question. "Do you remember that camping trip in '96? He was quiet for a while, Then he said, I was wondering when you'd bring that up. The silence on the line stretched too long. I saw him too. He added, almost like it hurt to admit. Not that night, but the next day, when I was backing up. You were already in the truck. I turned around, and he was standing at the edge of the clearing. His voice cracked. He didn't have a face, but I knew he was looking at me. I didn't know what to say. For years, I'd convinced myself it was childhood imagination or a dream. But now, even after all this time, my father's voice shook. I thought if we left, he'd stay there, he whispered. I was wrong, wasn't I? He hung up before I could answer. That night, I slept with the hallway light on again. I left my phone recording perched on the desk facing the door. At 2:37 a.m., the light began to flicker, then went out. I didn't wake up, not until morning, but the video was still running. I watched it 5 times. At 2:41 a.m., the door handle turned slowly, then stopped. The door creaked open, 4 inches, 5, and from the darkness beyond, a pale figure stepped forward. Slow, silent, the shape of a boy. He didn't enter the room. He stood in the doorway for nearly a full minute. Then he raised a hand and waved. The camera caught it all except his face. The light warped around it, as if something refused to let the lens focus, as if the image itself couldn't bear to form. Then the door closed on its own. No sound, no wind, just a soft click. I haven't shared the video. I don't think it matters now, because last night I heard him inside the room, not outside the window, not down the hall, but behind me. Just after I turned off the lights and lay in bed, I felt the air shift, the pressure change, like someone had walked through the door without opening it. I couldn't turn over, couldn't breathe. Then the mattress dipped, slightly, just enough to feel it, as though a small weight had settled beside me. And in the quiet, in the darkness, I heard it. I didn't mean to leave. The words were clear, but the voice was still wrong. Too small, too flat, like it came from someone remembering how to speak, or someone who used to speak. Long ago. I didn't sleep. This morning, there was a new mark on the wall beside my bed. A small handprint, smudged ashy, like it had been pressed there by someone cold. He's closer now. I can feel him moving even when I don't see him. Like he's waiting for something. Not a scream, not a reaction. Just a choice. To go with him, to follow. Maybe back to the woods, maybe someplace deeper. I don't think I have much time. Tonight, if he comes again, I don't think he'll stand in the hallway. I think he'll speak. I think he'll ask again. Come with me. And this time, I might say yes. Because the boy without a face isn't just watching anymore. He's calling me home. Story 4. Breathing behind me. Smoky Mountains, 2017. The trailhead was unmarked and narrow cut through tall brush that looked more like an animal path than something meant for hikers. Jenna hesitated when they reached it, chewing her lower lip, but Adam was already a few steps and grinning, like they were doing something daring. It's not that far, he'd said just before they lost cell signal. They'd planned the weekend to escape. 2 nights, 1 tent, a borrowed camping stove, and the stretch of sky above them that neither had seen in months. The Smokies were supposed to give them space, away from jobs, from noise, from everything that had pulled them in opposite directions lately. The hike had been long. The air was damp heavy with the scent of pine and rich soil. By the time they reached the clearing, little more than a flattened patch near a crooked tree, the sun had already begun to dip. The light scattered in thick gold between the trees, and Adam began pitching the tent, while Jenna wandered along the edge of the woods, watching the shadow line shift. They didn't say much while eating. Dried noodles, watered down wine. A soft breeze rolled through once in a while, cool against the sweat still drying on their backs. By nightfall, the forest swallowed the light completely. No moon, only the faint glow of the camp lantern casting half shapes across their tent. Inside, zipped away from the rest of the world, Jenna lay awake long after Adam had fallen into a slow, even breath beside her. She stared at the ceiling of the tent, tracing the seams, listening to the hush outside. Then she felt it, warm breath, soft and steady, just behind her neck. She didn't move at first. Thought it was Adam. But his breathing was different. Deeper mouth, open slightly. She stayed still. The breath came again. It wasn't in rhythm with his. It didn't match hers, and it was too close. Far too close. The space between them was small. But this was like someone was right there. Inches from her skin. She could feel it, humid, rhythmic. Real. Slowly, Jenna turned. Adam lay with his back to her. His body curled inward, facing the opposite side of the tent. The breath was still behind her, but now it stopped. The silence that followed was worse. Pressing. Absolute. She lay there, wide-eyed, frozen. Her limbs refused to move, held down by a fear that bloomed slowly cold and rising from her stomach like fog up a hillside. Then the sound of fabric shifting. The tent's wall just behind her head dented inward. Not like it was brushed accidentally, like a hand was pressing against it. Slowly, testing the shape of her skull through nylon, she let out a small gasp, barely more than a breath, and turned sharply, pushing herself against Adam. He woke with a grunt, blinking. "What?" "There's someone outside," she whispered, "right behind the tent." Adam sat up, rubbing his face. He listened. Nothing. Just the woods. Still, breathless. He peeked out the zipper. Light from the lantern flickered on the undergrowth. No movement. No sound. Not even insects now. "I don't see anything," he muttered, zipping it closed again. Jenna sat up, hugging her knees. "I felt breathing. I swear. On my neck." He paused, watching her. "I'm not making it up," she said, voice tight. "I didn't say you were." But his tone said he didn't quite believe it either. They left the lantern on the rest of the night. Eventually, she lay back down, though she didn't sleep. Adam's breathing slowed again, deepened, and just as her eyes began to flutter shut, she heard breathing again, but this time it was inside the tent, right behind her head. There was no room behind her, only nylon and the woods. She didn't turn around. Not this time. She stayed still, every muscle drawn tight, listening to the steady warm sound of air pushing in and out behind her, measured, unhurried. The kind of breathing you'd expect from someone watching you sleep. It wasn't Adam. She could hear him too farther away, on the other side of the tent, still sleeping soundly. This breathing was right above her neck, so close she felt her hairs rise with each slow exhale. Then it stopped. In the silence that followed, she strained to hear anything. Wind, an owl, the scratch of branches, nothing. The tent, small as it was, suddenly felt cavernous, its corners hidden in unnatural stillness, the kind of emptiness that didn't feel empty at all. She stared at the ceiling until her eyes burned too afraid to blink. Then came the touch, a faint pressure, not on her skin, but on her hair. A finger she thought brushing her scalp just once. Slowly, not forceful. Exploratory. She jerked up. Adam stirred. "Jenna." She scrambled toward him, breath coming in sharp, terrified pulls. "There's something in here," she said, her voice thin and cracking. "I swear to God it touched me. It touched my hair." Adam sat up, squinting in the dim light of the dying lantern. "There's nothing in here," he said. "It's zipped. We're sealed in." But Jenna was already at the zipper. She threw it open, gulping night air like she'd been drowning. Outside, the forest was deathly still. The trees loomed like waiting statues. Adam followed her out barefoot on the cold earth. The fire pit, long cold, sat untouched. Nothing had been moved. But then Jenna noticed it. Footprints. Not hers, not Adam's. Just behind the tent. Pressed into the earth, as though someone had been kneeling, face pressed against the nylon chest to the ground. No shoe tread. Just bare, long-toed impressions leading to the tent wall. And none leading away. They didn't sleep again. When morning came, they debated packing up. But Adam was stubborn, and Jenna was too exhausted to argue. They spent the day trying to make light of it. A weird dream. Maybe sleep paralysis. Maybe even an animal. They laughed at themselves over cold granola bars and warm Gatorade. But neither really believed it. As night fell again, the lantern flickered oddly. Adam banged it gently. Batteries afresh. It stayed lit but dim, casting sickly yellow across their faces. They crawled into the tent without speaking. This time, Jenna faced the tent wall, unwilling to risk having her back exposed. But the night didn't wait as long. Something touched her shoulder within minutes. She bolted upright, and Adam did too, eyes wide. "What? Don't you feel that?" "No, he stopped mid-sentence, because the breathing started again, right between them. It didn't belong to either of them. Both froze. The air inside the tent grew thicker, like humidity, trapped in lungs that weren't theirs. Then the sound of a long, rattling exhale drifted through the dark. It was low, broken, like whoever it belonged to shouldn't still be breathing. Adam grabbed the lantern, but it went out instantly. Dead. They didn't speak. The zipper on the tent door began to rise. Not fast, not violent. Just a smooth, steady upward motion. Jenna held her breath. Adam reached for his flashlight, but it wouldn't turn on. They listened to the zipper inch its way down again. It stopped halfway. The flap moved, and someone crawled in. They felt the air shift, heard the fabric stretch, but nothing touched them. Not yet. Then the whisper came. "Why did you leave me?" It was barely a voice, just enough to form syllables, like wind trying to speak. "Did you forget?" They scrambled for the flap, throwing it open and crawling out into the cold night. Jenna stumbled to her feet, spinning, heart racing. The woods looked unchanged, but something stood at the edge of the trees. A shape, low to the ground, breathing loud, broken slow. She couldn't make out a face. Just the glint of something wet in the starlight where its mouth might be. Then it moved back into the trees, slow, crawling, and vanished. They packed their things without speaking. They left the tent behind. They didn't stop walking until the trail widened, until cell service returned, until car doors slammed shut behind them and tires peeled away from the dirt. Back home, Jenna changed apartments. She stopped camping, stopped watching horror movies, stopped sleeping with the lights off. But sometimes, late at night, she still wakes up. The air feels thick, the room feels too still, and from just behind her ear, she swears she hears breathing. Story 5, 3 knocks. Yosemite, 2004. The air in Yosemite in late September always held a crisp-edged dry pine, mingling with the faint scent of burnt leaves and cold earth. 4 friends had hiked in together. Nina, her brother Trevor, their friend Louis and Kayla, who'd flown in from the city for one last real adventure before winter shut the trails. They found a spot beside a slow-moving stream tucked far enough off the trail to feel like it was their own piece of wilderness. By the time their tents were pitched and the fire sparked to life. The sky had darkened into velvet, and the trees stood like silent monuments, unmoving. They passed around a shared flask, letting the fire crackle between them, flames dancing across their faces. Nina told the first ghost story, something about a woman in a white dress who walked roads at night. Louise followed with a legend about skinwalkers. Kayla, city-born and always skeptical, rolled her eyes but smiled. Then Trevor leaned forward, voice low. "You guys ever hear about the 3 knocks?" Louise raised an eyebrow. "What, like a ghost thing?" Trevor nodded. "Backwoods lore. Supposedly, when you're deep enough in the trees, away from people, away from noise, sometimes the forest knocks back." "Like knocks?" Nina asked. "Yeah, 3 of them. Solid, measured, like someone knocking on a door that isn't there." Kayla gave a crooked grin. "And what happens if you knock back?" Trevor looked at her. "You're not supposed to." "Why not?" He poked at the fire. "Because it answers." That got a quiet laugh from the group, but no one said anything else for a while. The wind had died. The stream behind them gurgled softly, and even the fire seemed to hush. It was just past midnight when they finally slipped into their tents. Kayla and Nina shared one, while Trevor and Luis took the other a few feet apart under the looming shadow of a fir tree. The woods held a different weight at night. A quiet not born from peace but from stillness. The kind that waited. The kind that watched. It must have been around 2 a.m. when Nina woke. No sound, no reason. Just the sudden certainty that something had changed. She sat up, trying not to rustle the sleeping bag too loudly. The air in the tent was cold. Too cold. She reached for the zipper, tugged it down just enough to peek outside. Nothing. The fire was dead, a pile of glowing ash. She was about to lie back down when she heard it. Knock. It echoed through the trees, sharp like wood on wood. She froze. Knock. Again. Closer this time. Steady. Not rushed. She held her breath. Knock. The third one came from the direction of the large tree behind Trevor and Luis's tent. She whispered Kayla, but her friend didn't stir. Outside, the forest held its breath, then footsteps. Crunching pine needles, slow and measured. Not animal steps. Not the scatter of something wild. Heavy. Two-legged. They circled the tents. Once, twice, then silence. When Nina woke again, it was light. The others were already up, poking at the ashes and boiling water for instant coffee. She stepped out slowly, still unsure if what she'd heard had been a dream. "You guys hear anything weird last night?" she asked. Trevor looked up. "Like what?" "Knocking, 3 times, in the woods." He stiffened just slightly. "Nah." But Nina saw the way his eyes shifted too fast. She let it go. That day the wind picked up. Leaves scraped across dry dirt like whispers. They hiked a bit, tried to forget the unease, but the forest didn't feel the same anymore. Every gust felt like it carried eyes. That night they didn't tell stories. They sat quietly, letting the fire do the talking. No one suggested staying up late. By midnight they were zipped back inside. Nina couldn't sleep. She lay with her eyes open, listening to the hush, and then it started again. Knock. From the direction of the stream. Knock. Closer. A little to the left. Knock. Right outside their tent. She felt Kayla tense beside her. "You heard that?" she whispered. Kayla nodded slowly. The air turned dense, pressing in like fog. And then something brushed the outside of the tent. Just a gentle touch. A long, dragging motion from one corner to the other. Kayla sat up. "We need to get out of here," she whispered. Outside, the forest offered no sound. No wind, no footsteps. Just the slow return of breathing, not theirs, near the fabric wall. Nina's breath hitched. That sound, slow, damp, uneven continued just outside, right by her head. Like someone crouched beside the tent, exhaling through their nose. A broken rhythm. Each breath too long, too strained, as if whoever was out there had been holding it in for hours. Then it stopped. Silence again, heavier than before. Kayla's hand closed around Nina's wrist. Her fingers were ice cold. "Don't move," Kayla mouthed, though her voice barely carried. Nina didn't. The air inside the tent felt wrong, like it had been pulled too thin. Like something might tear through it without warning. Her mind searched for explanations. An animal, the wind, some twisted dream, still clinging to the edges of sleep. But none of those explained the knocks. The deliberate pacing, the breathing. Outside, the footsteps returned. This time they circled both tents. Slow, careful. Crunching pine brushing over rocks. Then another knock. Not 3 this time, just 1. Right behind Trevor and Louise. A pause. Then another. And another. 3 knocks. Again, but not from the same place. This time from opposite sides of the campsite, seconds apart. As if more than one thing was out there. As if the forest had gathered itself in the dark, pulled from corners unseen. Then nothing. No sound. No movement. Just a waiting stillness that stretched until Nina thought she might scream, just to break it. Morning came dull and colorless. Light barely cutting through the haze. When they stepped out, Trevor was already packing up his tent. Louis looked pale. His eyes didn't leave the trees. "You guys hear that?" Nina asked. Trevor didn't answer. He looked over, then back to his pack. "Let's just go." But Louis spoke. "I saw something," he said quietly. They all looked at him. He didn't look up. "Around 3. I heard it walking. Then I looked through the mesh. Something was standing by the fire pit." "What was it?" Kayla asked. "I don't know," Louis said. "Too tall. Skin. Gray. No face." Trevor shook his head. "You were half asleep." Louise finally looked at him. It was knocking Trevor. Trevor didn't respond. They broke camp fast. No one joked. No one reminisced. The hike back felt longer. Every time a branch snapped or a breeze moved the undergrowth, they turned. Even when the trail widened and the sun grew stronger, the trees still felt too close. At the car, Nina looked back only once. The forest stood unmoved. But for a split second, she thought she saw something standing at the trailhead. Tall, still, watching. That night back at her apartment, she turned on every light before unpacking. The unease hadn't left. It clung to her, like damp air after a storm. She showered, made tea, tried to sleep. Around 2:47 a.m. she woke up. At first she didn't know why. Then she noticed the window was cracked open. She never left it open. She rose slowly, heart already pounding, and crossed the room. Pulled the curtain aside. Nothing, just the quiet neighborhood. Trees lining the street still in the night. She closed the window. As she turned back to the bed, knock. It came from inside the apartment, from the front door. She froze. Then again, knock. Even, measured. A third knock followed. Knock. She moved to the door, cautiously. Peered through the peephole. The hallway was empty, but something was written across her door in soot-black fingerprints. 3 words. "You knocked back." She stumbled backward, breath caught in her throat. Then she remembered the first night when Trevor had told the story around the fire. He'd knocked on the tree beside him to punctuate it. 3 times. Solid, clear. She hadn't thought much of it then. Now it echoed in her mind. You're not supposed to knock back, because it answers, because it comes, because it remembers. She slept with the hallway light on. But sometime before dawn, it burned out. Now every night the knocking returns. Always 3. Sometimes at her window, sometimes at the closet. Last night it came from beneath the bed. 1, 2, 3. And the breathing returned. She doesn't answer anymore. doesn't speak of Yosemite, but sometimes when it's quiet, too quiet, she swears she can hear footsteps in the walls, still circling, still waiting,